We're back again with another tier list for cavalry units for Age of Sigmar. We're going to go by the aesthetic of the unit. We're going to go by points. We're not going to tell you exactly what the points are, but the cost of the unit. We're going to break it all down. And the utility and the strength of each unit. And we're going to go by cream of the crop. Yeah, because Randy Savage. Cream of the crop. And we'll go from there to it's a butte, which is, you know, it's an ideal unit to put in your army. It's not something you're going to spam, but you know, it's with proper use, it's decent. And then we got decent model button. And it's like, it could make your army list. It's not likely to, but it's a really nice model. All it needs is like a slight tweak here and there. And then we got Almost Worth, which is like the models, either maybe it's a banger, but it's like, could be better, right? But in the game, it's really crap. The complete opposite. It's fine cast, and it's just a trash model, but it's just overpowered in the game. And then there's Nah. And it's like, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to paint it. I don't even want to see this on the table. Don't silence me. No, I'm going to listen. I'm going to be reading chat. I just won't have it visible on screen so I can nerf you guys a little bit. All right, guys. So let's go with, I think we're going to go in this exact order. Not enough sufficient trash unit, trash model. Next. List. Hold on. Trash unit, yes. Trash models needs a bit of an update. Needs some love. Is there a below F tier on these? No. These guys don't deserve an F. Is it fine? No, it's not. It's not fine. Shut up. It's not fine cast. You're lying to me. It's a multi-part plastic kit. What are you talking about, fine cast? The hell are you talking about? They're not. They're a plastic kit. Okay. So, yes, fine cast makes them go down a peg. Okay. Points wise, they're a little overcosted for what they get. I do like the fact that they're giving the boxes a 6, so this gives them some potential to be a better unit going forward because of the new reinforcement rules. And like the fact that they're selling units of 6 instead of 3s now. So these guys, they're a decent model. They need a point reduction. They're just slightly they're just not good enough on the tabletop to warrant fielding them. They're too elite of a unit and not be survivable enough. And they don't hit hard enough. Hellstriders of Slanesh. Ooh. Ooh, no. So soon. We're hitting it so soon. And it's before Crypt thinks so, or before Shameless thinks so, it's a plastic kit. Okay, so we're fine there. Doesn't go down a peg because it's fine cast. Okay, so we're gonna, man, it just, they still have photos of the square bases, guys. Ugh, just brutal, man. This okay, needs a serious update. The rules, I don't even know what the rules are. I just know they're too expensive points wise. And they really don't achieve anything on the tabletop. So they are definitely going into the nah. I'm not buying them. I thought they got updated. No, they were just a different unit. We'll get to that. Vanguard. Vanguard, very expensive points wise and dollar reduce. Maple bucks is up there, 120 maple bucks. But the sculpts are primo. Okay, top marks for the sculpt and for the painting meta. Okay, stupid expensive for 3 models, but you will get your money's worth in painting and tabletop play out of these. They hit like a freight train. Just 3 of them can wipe a unit. Each one is like essentially a leader by themselves. Is that what makes up 50% of an Archaon list? This makes up like an 1/8, which is fitting. About an 1/8 to a 1/6 of the list, because they get buffs from Archaon himself. Yeah, so Archaon in like 2 units of 3 or 1 unit of 6, and then like little units just kind of sprinkled in. But yeah, they are cream of the crop. 100%. They embody everything that you want to see in a cavalry unit. They can either be a sledgehammer unit that will just go through infantry. They will turn into a tar pit if you want them to, because they have just an insane amount of wounds, right? And they also look amazing. So Marauders on horseback. Yes, Marauder Horseman. Honestly, I don't even know what the rules are like. I've never seen these. This is a C or a D. Yeah, we're the aesthetic. I like the horses. The horses look nice, but everything else about the models I hate. Like, these are like classic GW can't do faces. Can we zoom in on this face? No, can't enhance anymore. But like, look at this poor boy. Look at this poor guy here. He's having a rough go, man. He's having a real rough go. Enhance. Zoom out. Yeah. So these guys, I don't even know what their movement is. They're not. Nah. They're maybe better than them. And then Chaos Knights. Honestly, they still hold up. They still look really nice. Like, look at the armor, the bone there. Like, pretty legit models, if you ask me. Like, pretty legit. Like, each shield is like almost different. So yeah, so like chat's saying, the like aesthetically, very pleasing, very nice. I like it. Still really good. I don't even think this needs an update. Like, it's really nice looking. Points wise, this is a solid unit. Like, if you don't have the points for Vanguard, this is the next big unit that you want to go for. Decent model, bud. It's definitely a decent model just by the aesthetic. Points wise, bumps it up a little bit more. The use and utility on the table makes it even better. You get a unit of the spears hitting all at the same time, and you do some decent damage, right? Maybe +1 from decent. Yeah. So I'm saying they're buttes. It's a butte. It's a butte. Definitely a butte. Okay. These will make it into actual Slaves of Darkness competitive lists. The updated versions are in the starter box. Also just decent. Oh, that's true. They do have an updated version. Okay, well, let's take a look at that. Get started boxes. I forgot. Slaves of Darkness have that weird get started box. So if you're taking the ones out of the get started box and using them, we're bumping them up one more, right? If you have a full unit of 10 of these guys from the get started box and you're throwing them in, then I'm putting these guys up here with them. They have the same utility, the same power as the Vanguard. The Vanguard are just a different list choice. These do not hit as hard, but they're more of a tar pit. But if you're using the old models, they're down here. Okay. So if you have 2 boxes of the get started box and you have a full unit of 10, or if you're only using 5, that they're up here. I like the new kit. I like the new models more. They look much nicer. I like the bigger shields. So like if it's the old models, they're buttes. Because just the utility and the strength makes them a decent model. And the fact that they're a decent model just for painting brings them up to it's a butte. But if it's the new models, they're buttes already. So they go up more because they are really decent in the actual game. Right? So we got what is it? Enlightened on disc. Enlightened on disc. A dual kit. I love me a good dual kit. There, chat. Okay. Zangors. I love these models. The Zangors look gorgeous. Okay. If I was going to go with a Chaos army that isn't potentially a dwarf Chaos army, which is hopefully coming out soon, which I'm holding for. You know, I'm saving for it. We're going to jump into the Chaos Dwarves if they come out anytime soon. Okay. And then we got the Enlightened here. They're super fast. That's what their utility is. They're super fast, kind of easy to kill though. So you have to be very careful how you use them. But the utility is the speed, and their Zangor so good it crosses games. Yes, true. They transcend games. So good that they had to reuse the sculpts. Okay, so strength wise, not that great. You don't really see them in any list for that matter. But the models are beaut. It's only a decent model because the models are beaut, but the rules suck. And how much are they? $60 for 3? Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of money for 3 models. I guess they're more Beast of Chaos than Chaos Divided or Zinch. Yeah, they're more Beast of Chaos. So that way, like, they're stronger and better in Beast of Chaos, but they're not, and they're cheaper too. They're just not as useful. Skyfires. Okay, we're gonna go into Skyfires. The other half of this box set. Objectively, they're the better choice, right? For strength and utility and flexibility. But there's a big giant but. Okay. They are too expensive points wise. They need to go down at least 20 to 25% before they're actually viable again. You just can't field enough of these guys. They don't have enough wounds. They only count for 1 on the objective. So they don't have enough wounds to count as 2. So they only count for 3 bodies on the objectives. Now that they have decent attacks and decent range, but it's just still not viable in a competitive list. But they are a little bit better. So they're a beaut because they're a gorgeous model. They just need a slight bump in points that go up here. Because they were up here until they got nerfed. And they got nerfed right to the ground. That's definitely the painting meta that's bumping that up. Just to let you guys know. We got the Blight Lords on flies. Goyle Blight Lords. $80 for 2 of them. They're a bit on the pricey side, but I've seen the size of these models. They're a decent sized model for $80, especially if you get 2 of them. They're not bad in a fight either. They hit pretty hard. There's a ton of attacks coming off these flies. And then the riders on top are no slouches either. I think they're a sweet looking model. I think they look great. They have play in a Nurgle army because they have speed. $40 is pretty standard for a character, and these guys look better than most of them. Yeah, and they can stand in as a character on the Puscoil. I don't know if with the new book if that's changing at all, but I know some people use these as their like Lord of Affliction or something, right? Because there's another box set with it. Like there's so many like little Gribblies. Like look at this guy. Freaking little Nurglings. Going for a ride. Going for the ride of the life. Honestly, this one's up here. Definitely cream of the crop in the ways of Cavalry. Cavalry, this is probably, these 2 are one of my probably easy top 5 favorite. Lord of Afflictions. So I think these are like the casters guys. What exactly are these guys? I don't know if I've seen, maybe these are the ones I usually see. Rolfing Steed. Maybe I'm not exactly sure. I think these are like the elite version of, or the more mutated version of the Blight Lords. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between the 2 of these are, but the same box set. So it's a multi-box kit. You can decide whatever one you like more, right? So monetarily, they are the same. I like these slight less. The model holding the guy and the head is a bit weird for me. Yeah, like this is a little bit odd. Like you got like the tentacle coming out of the guy's mouth and like not really sure what's going on with all that there. Right? Like that's pretty disturbing. Pretty disturbing for sure. I know they have slight different rules in the game. I really wish they still had the rules here on their website. Even though the other ones are elite already. I'm sure they have just extra buffs or extra rules. But I've seen both of them in the same list and it's done well. So the model of the guy that looks much lower quality than the rest of the model. Yeah, well, I think it's just their heroic scale of humans, right? Heroic scale humans just don't look proper because they're too chunky. But I do like these like overall, I can overlook. You don't have to put that guy on there, you know. As far as I'm concerned, you don't need to put the human on there, and you can probably do something else with it. The blade, the slick blade seekers. You'll never see these guys. The models are like, the update looks great. They're freaking so cool looking. Painting meta, they're up there. But they're way too expensive for what you get. They're super fast, but they hit like a wet noodle. They're really just used for wounds to take and then get free summoning points. And unfortunately, it's just how the whole army functions. Yeah, it's just I don't like, I don't know what else to say about these guys. That like, their utility is just not really there. Like, they don't hit hard like a cavalry unit should. They don't really soak wounds because they only have 2 wounds each, and they have like a 5-up save. They're super fast, but they hit like a wet noodle. So I mean, and they're $80 for 5, so that's pretty decent, right? So I say they're about here. They're a decent model. They're a decent model even if you just wanted to paint them. It's just they're like almost not worth though. You know what I mean? They're very close. We will adjust this as we go, but right now I'm saying these are not worth it. They're not worth it. For playing. If you want to paint it, that's another story. So they're a decent model. It's just they don't really have a place in the game. You know? The Seekers, we're gonna put them in the same spot, honestly. They're slightly more useful. You know what? They go down. These guys have more use. Bliss Barb. I mean, they're sick looking models. Like, they're super cool. I've seen these in a competitive list, but I mean, you have to be a mad person to run them. Absolutely insane. So, like, you might as well. They're a decent model because just they look amazing. Like, they would be so much fun to paint. So much fun because they're so lively, so animated, and like the poses and like the action poses are so nice. I mean, they're Slanesh. Fast is just what they do. Yeah, but like, it's not enough that they're just fast. They should be fast and they hit hard, you know, or be fast and. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, the Pistoliers? Okay, so the Pistoliers are a glass cannon. They're like one of the weirdest cavalry units that's in this game entirely. They're a shooting cavalry unit that shoot again when you get into combat, but they fall over to a stiff breeze. They're a 5-up save, 2 wounds. They move a billion. So they're super fast. They're good unit. Their model is definitely dated. So we're gonna have to go with their middle of the pack. They're decent. Yeah, they're dated. They are not good looking. Look, they are fine. Yeah, see, they're middle of the pack. They look okay. If painted well, they look decent. They could use an update with the new City of Sigmar aesthetic, whatever that's going to be. I'm looking forward to see what they do with the humans in Age of Sigmar and what the Cities of Sigmar models will look like. I'm looking forward to that time because they are going to look dope. Not my cup of tea in terms of playstyle. Not me neither. They're too like in your face, and if things go sideways, you lose the unit. And they're not cheap enough to really be trading for that. Now their other unit, Outriders, are a better choice. Aesthetically, they look the same. They look goofier with their big guns on their horses, though. They still have the same. As far as I know, they still have the same save, and they move 10. Bad, just bad. They look awful. They look so derpy with those big guns. Like, look at the guy with the cannon. It's just like, why? Just why? He legit has a hand cannon on a stick. Yeah, it's just like it's bad. I think their output's better, but they look so damn goofy that it's just no. Not even worth it. Not even worth it. I think they're more expensive points wise too. I've seen hysterical games with better looking cav than that. I have too. I agree. Like they need an update bad. They are so horrible looking. Just terrible. If they weren't decent in the game, they'd be down here. Demigryphs. Chat, we all know how I feel about Demigryphs. Love them. Classic. We'll say classic. Like, yes, iconic, but we'll just say classic. They look like knights on a mystical demigryph with some dope ass armor on. Like, look amazing. The rules on them, decent, really good. There's actual use in them in the game. I was gonna do maybe a demigryph army for an escalation league with some new players in it, but why do they only come in 3s? That's how Cav came for some reason. Cavalry tends to come in units of 3 for whatever reason in Games Workshop. Demigryphs and Grail Knights are solid. I don't even know if Grail Knights are still available. They're not. I looked. I couldn't find any other human on Cav at all. Couldn't find, because aren't those Bretonnian? Like, this is close to a Cav, melee Cav that they have. These are great. I think they have enough wounds, so they count as a. But I mean, dare I? I think they're up here though. They're up here for sure. I don't know if they're better than, like, points wise and money wise, they're a little bit less than Skyfire, so maybe they're here. Definitely a beaut. Definitely a beaut, bud. Okay. Great iconic unit. I think I'm hoping in the new book they get some sweet rules, because they had a lot of stuff that needed the battalion, and they needed a few things to, like, kind of jump around and help buff them. All right. So we got the next one, which is Black Knights. Okay, Black Knights. Thank you. Fucking boom. Thank you, bud. Price wise, that's a really good price for what you're getting. They are not that great on the table though. They're just bad on the table. Yes, Hexwraiths are better. They're better Hexwraiths than Hexwraiths. They aren't trash. I could make them work. It's just better in the book. I don't know. I've looked at the rules. They just don't look that, or like the points and stuff. They don't really fit anything that the Gravelords need. You know, like they don't fit anywhere in the book. There's so many other things that you could be using instead of, like, you could use the dragon instead of this. You know what I mean? I understand the dragon's a lot more points, but it's worth the investment over these guys. Trash as in they look like trash. Ooh. I don't think they look like trash though. Yeah, see, here's another variance. Is this just a weapon choice? I think so. Wait. They're from the same box set? They are. They're Hexwraiths from the same box set? Well, how do you did it some listen. I didn't even realize that they were from the same box set. They don't look the same though. It's just the way they're painted. Splunkin, welcome to Woo! SJ, dropping those gifties. Okay, I'm down to taking some bribes for sure. Not opposed to it. Take that oil back. Black Knights are nah. I think the models look decent though. I'd say almost worth. Like if they had decent rules. Like the models, you can't go Hexwraiths are great and then these are bad. Like these are trash. Not really. Like the only thing that's keeping these guys back is the rules. So they're almost worth it. The Hexwraiths are the best thing in that book, basically. Although the book is trash. But if you're gonna play Nighthaunt, you need these guys. And they look great. No, it's not just aesthetically. This is like everything. We're putting points wise, utility, kind of everything together into one cohesive scoring system. Like price. Like we're putting everything into consideration with these. Black Knights are nah. But how the Hexwraiths like up here then? Because I think the Hexwraiths are up here. For that many points, I could take 20 zombies. Yeah, but then they just need an adjustment. They need a rules adjustment. They're almost worth it. They're missing one of 5 things that make them a decent model, a decent unit, right? So they're almost worth it. Almost. They're not worth it. They're almost worth it. Hexwraiths are a beaut, but like at the lowest, maybe highest of decent. Yeah, but that's like the low hanging fruit that the Hexwraiths are up there because they're the only half decent thing in the book. Like I understand that, right? That's why they're a little bit higher, because the book that they're in is absolutely horrible and they need some love. So that's why they're like, I think maybe top of the decent right now. You know? Okay, and then we got the Death Osiark Bone Reapers and Stalker Death Riders. I love these models. They look sweet. I've put them together. They look really, really cool. And they have play. In this book, in their book, there is a build where you can have predominantly 2 big units of them or more. But yes, OBR and are objectively in a bad place right now, just as a whole, as an army. But I mean, once they get some better rules, they will go up. But like the models are fire. They are just amazing looking. Just I love the aesthetic. So they are definitely going. We're gonna go their buttes. The book is just in a bad spot. The rules for them are not bad. They're a good tar pit unit. They can be used for doing some slight hit and run tactics, sort of. They're fairly quick, so they can run onto objectives. You know, they're not bad. Then we got Blood Knights. We're Blood Knights. I think they're up here. Fucking, they're so cool rules wise. They're so nice. When I saw these, I wanted to paint them. You know where the put Blood Knights? 100% cream of the crop, man. They are so good. Like aesthetically, they are bar none one of the best models. I think the Vanguard are one of the few that actually beat this in this competition for aesthetic. Unless you're more into the like the vampire thing, but you know, that's more of preference. But I think these models are still edge them out a little bit aesthetically. Price 75 for 5. I can live with that. I can live with that. The price isn't bad. This is in Maple Bucks, so Americans don't lose your cookies. I'm literally putting nothing but Blood Knights with my Nagash. 20 Blood Knights, Nagash, and a White Stein. Yeah, ooh. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds like fun, man. I don't know how it could do really good too, because these guys are a hell of a tar pit. And when you get those buffs from the rules, they can turn into sledgehammer units too. And they got speed. They got so much going on for them. And with them being in this box set, like that's a hell of a good start of Gravelord army set, man. This is a great start to an army. Yeah, the Blood Knights with the cycle charge, like their rules are just amazing. I think they're up here. They I think these are neck to neck. These might shift. They might shift because the rules on these are, I think they're gonna have to debate the rules on these later. Let's see if they're worth it. Source Knights, easy. They're so bad. They look like Garbo. Desperately need a new arm, like a new box set. Like desperately. No word of a lie. This is part of the reason why I'm not playing Seraphon as my first army in Age of Sigmar. Is these specific models. They stop me from playing dinos made out of dinos. And they're just so bad. Like it's just you'll see later. I'm gonna try and put two of them together, and I'll show you guys why I just wish they got an update and they need it so bad. Then the rules on them bad. That's why you're wrong. I'm entitled to my wrong opinion, okay? Spider Riders. Nah. Spider Riders. even the price of them. I guess the price isn't too bad for 10 of them. But oh my god, like just when I was collecting the gets, I was thinking maybe I should do a spider army. And then I looked at the models and I was like, no, I guess we're not. They like if there's a cav unit that really needs an update, it's the Source Guard and these two. Like these spider riders need some serious love. They're hurting like points wise, these rules wise. It just no. It's just not good. They got a crappy save. They have decent movement. Kind of a bit of a tar pit, I guess, just because of the amount of models. But they're just bad. Just bad. They're not the worst though. I think we're putting them there. I don't need to know what these rules are, so we're gonna throw them back there. Gore Grunters. Gore Grunters are up here. Where they fit, I think they fit somewhere here. The points for them, the wounds, their utility, their speed, everything about them makes them such an amazing piece added to the army that and aesthetically they are amazing. That like they are one of the best cav units in the game. I don't know if they are the best, but they are definitely up there with one of the best. I still think your Blood Knights, I think Blood Knights still can edge them out. You think like rules wise they're the best? I don't know if aesthetically they are. I know money wise they're not. Like it's 95 for 3. Money wise, they are not worth it. That's a lot of money for 3 models. So that drops them down just a tad. It's Canadian maple bucks, remember. So don't you'll be fine. It's okay. More wounds, fast. They are 4 wounds each? They do hit harder. It's true. And they're a much better tar pit, and their allegiance abilities let them move quicker. I think they go up to here. Yeah, I think you're right. 74 USD, and like these are 120 for 3. So I think that drops them down. Because like that's 75 for 5. And these guys are almost, I would almost pick more of these for more of these. Boing Grat. You get 10 of these for 60. Like money wise, these models are great. They're a great hobby unit. Utility wise to do mortal wounds on the impact, you know. They got decent survivability. They're a half decent tar pit. They're kind of fast, but their movement is very dependent on things, on dice rolls. So like they're a beaut. They're like the best thing in the book. Unfortunately, they're like the best thing that they have. They're a beaut model. Listen, they're top tier freaking models. I can't really like scuffed. They're top tier models to paint. They're so much fun. They're actually the best thing in the book. Even like the Mangler Squig is almost as good. Like a unit of 10 of these do more damage than a Mangler Squig. I mean, like you can give them extra movement with characters nearby, so you can give them a little bit more speed. The fact that you have to roll their dice kind of drops them a bit, but like it's 10 models for $60. So for painting the sculpts, like all the aesthetic stuff, the rules knocks them down a peg. The utility on that stuff kind of keeps them still because they do mortal wounds, and they kind of you can use them as a tar pit as well, and you don't really have much in the way of tar pits. So biased. I think so. You probably. I mean, they're probably more here, or like here. Probably more here. I think the models look amazing. You know, but let's say we could say they're decent. We can say I'm comfortable with saying they're decent though. The army needs some help. Okay, and these are trash. They're almost worth it. They're not as bad as Outriders or freaking Slick Blades. These rules are awful. They're terrible. They have no save. You can't tar pit with them. They just die to a stiff breeze. They're sometimes fast, sometimes not. They don't hit very hard, as they should, but they're a lot of points. They're expensive for 10. They're 30 more points than 20 grots, and their worst save, and their movement could be the same at some point. Let's just leave it at that. And they hit just as atrociously, and you can't really buff their hit that well, the point where they're useful. Eat a bunch of psycho mushrooms for a 5+ feel no pain. They don't have that. They don't have a shrug. They don't get a shrug. This Gloomspite gets. They don't get anything. They get nothing in the sort. They get extra movement from like a command point. Hurricane Wind Chargers. Aesthetically amazing looking models. They look awesome. I don't think they're actually kangaroos. I think they're more like dino. Hades for the Dawn Riders real quick. Decent model, bud. They look good. Pretty expensive. Good against 1-2 wound on the charge, but die to a breeze. Yeah, they are expensive. So it's kind of the same with these, except they have that unique ability of not having to engage. The Ruse are also decent model, bud. I think I'm putting they're here. So they're like aesthetically, they're really aesthetically pleasing. Their movement is insane. With a buffing piece, they have fly. They can move over units. And they can move. They can double move or like increase their movement to like 28 or something crazy. And then you can pile in away from something to just keep it in combat and not really engage and just keep shooting at them in combat. The utility is there. There's a lot of tricky, wacky shit you can do with them. I think with all that going for them, they're a beauty. Yeah, so like speed of hish, you can increase their speed. That the utility of them makes them that much more powerful. So they are a beauty. Like they are hard to use, but they're a bit on the expensive points wise. But if we're looking at price per model, like I think 75 for 5 on a Cavalry unit is actually a decent price. Aesthetically, they look gorgeous. Even if you're just painting them, they look awesome. Competitively, they're okay. They do add a lot of utility to your book, which you needed speed. So I think this is a good spot for them. Maybe a little bit higher on the list, but they are. We'll get back to that later, and we will be adjusting things. Not everything is going to stay where. Dawn Riders are kind of more of the same, and I think they're just a lesser version of them. They are decent on the tabletop. They have a place in the book, and I think people just haven't really used them to their full potential. Or it's because everything else is so expensive in your book. Dawn Riders are better than really. I just feel like if you use these correctly, that they can have more utility because they're quicker too. Dawn Riders, like aesthetically, they look. I think they look nicer. They're armored. Like they have the Shining Company keywords. Do some decent damage. Just because the wizard doesn't mean they're good. I honestly like the aesthetic more of the Dawn Riders, and I think they fit a similar role. Not really. There's a reason why they don't feature in many lists. It's because the Sentinels are too strong. That's why. Sentinels are just too strong. So these guys don't get a spot. If these went down in price, or if the Sentinels went up in price, they might start picking these instead of just getting a full shooting army. And yes, I have seen Dawn Riders in almost every list here, and with good effect. The Drake Spawn Knights now. They used to be dark Knights on cold ones or something. Drake Spawn Knights, 5 of them. You never see these. This is part of the reason why I hate the Seraphon aesthetically. They're just so terrible looking. And Saurus Knights, right? Then you got these guys. Look at these, like raptor looking, like kind of realistic looking. Like they're so nice. They're trash. They're so good. These are good. These are good. Like I've never seen them. I think it's because nobody owns them. Oh, they're a 3+ save. Oh shit, they are amazing. It's like I just never looked at the rules because like I never see them. They be a massive tar pit. Okay, they're going up, and I was gonna put them at like kind of decent, but they're definitely a beauty. Definitely a beauty. Like they're amazing. Like they don't hit very hard, but like crazy good tar pit. 3+ save. It's kind of like the demigriffs, right? Very similar, and so it's. I just grabbed like the nicer looking ones. They aesthetically they look pretty good in this one. The Dunefire Warlocks, meh. I think they're just so much better things in the book than them. And I think they're almost worth it. We're gonna put them. Here. There's so many other things that do the same job, like the Heartrenders and stuff. They do a similar job. They can do a kind of a speed bump, or they can get in the back line with speed, right? Or deep strike style thing. They can do similar things as you would want to do with the Warlock unit. Just they don't fit anything in that book aesthetically or utility. Like they're just not, for me. They're just, they missed the mark. We got the Morn Pack. We're gonna go with really decent. Really decent. They're a bit of an older kit that looks really good. Morn Fang Pack. They're in the get started box for Beastclaw Raiders, which is like part of the reason why they're really up there in this list. They might even go up to beauties, just because they're in this box set. Like this buy like I think 2 or 3 of these. I think buy 3 of these and you have an army of BCR. It's the easiest way to get into the game. The models, like the Morn Fangs, look pretty cool. Like they're kind of like, they kind of remind me of like ogres wearing riding bears or something, like polar bears. It's really freaking cool looking. It's really neat aesthetic. It fits the aesthetic of the rest of the army as well. Let's go with Stormcast Eternals, and we're just gonna hit all of the all their stuff all at once here. Okay, Stormdrake Guard. Money wise, that's expensive for 2. Flying stands, chat. We all know how I hate flying stands, but aesthetically, they're freaking amazing looking. Like just pin the leg to something, like just do anything to get rid of those clear flying stands. Like $130 for 2 models, though. That's hard to stomach. Although you don't really see how big they're really big. Like the size of them is they're a beefy unit. Okay. They're up here. Aesthetically, they're amazing. Price wise, these are big models. If you can find a way to get rid of the flight stand, they would be higher up. But the fact that you have to find something else to pin them to, I don't know. The rules on them are just ridiculous. They can be used in so many different ways. There's a lot of wounds on these models. You can tank like crazy with these. You can use them as tar pits. They hit like a sledgehammer truck. You have it. I think they're like here, maybe even here. So what we found the Evocators. Let's go with them. So Evocators, I mean, aesthetically, they're so cool looking. So like $70 for 3. These models aren't all that big, but I think they're bigger than the Demigryphs, so they are better than them. Points wise, they hit pretty hard, but they don't really, in an already elite army that's starved for points, they never really find a spot. They might now. I just never seen them, what they actually do. Let's see what, let's actually check what these guys do on the table. See if they're actually useful. Dracoline. Movement 12. That's really good. Like movement 12, nothing to sneeze at. 5 wounds each. That's pretty massive. 4 up save. I wish it was a 3 up would make them better. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage from the rider. And then where's that from? Yeah, so that's the Storm Staff. And then the Grand Staff is 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2 damage, no rend. They're all reach 1 though. But then the claws from the actual beastie is 3s and 3s, rend 1, d3 damage. So they hit pretty hard. I say they hit pretty hard. Points is they're pretty expensive. But for 15 wounds, I'm surprised I don't see more of these. Like 3 attacks. Like I would give them the swords for 4 attacks each. So the 12 attacks from the riders. 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage. And then another 3 attacks each from the Draco Lions. Like, I don't... And they're a wizard. I don't understand. I really don't see why we don't see more of these. Roll a dice. Roll 3 dice for each model in this unit. For each 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Yeah, it even does mortal wounds after the unit fights. Like, these are really good. I don't understand why you don't see them. Like, they're going up higher than I thought they would. They are going definitely. I think they're going up here or here. We're gonna put them there because I'm not exactly. We're gonna see Fulminators and stuff that have like a shooting attack on top of it. So we're gonna see how many points they are, and then we're gonna adjust from there. So let's check out. But like, I'm surprised we don't see more of those, chat. Like, points wise, money wise, like collecting them. Oh, sorry, we found these guys first. So we use the Vanguard Paladors. I know these guys are really fast, and they have like some movement shenanigans. But I know they are not as good as their points. No. There's still 5 wounds each. Still 5 wounds each, and they movement 12, but they have some shenanigans for either boosting that or doing a better job. The Starstrike Javelin's pretty good. I like the Javelin. I do like the Javelin. Although the shock hand axe is really decent. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s. Ren 1, D3 damage for the hand axe. Like, this is a... Nope, don't like that. Not good. Teleport is weird. Yeah, I've heard like their movement's kind of weird, right? Aesthetically, they look great though. They look really freaking cool. The Razor Beacon Claws is 3s and 3s, Ren 2, 1 damage. So like, they don't do as much damage. The Ren 2 is nice, but it's the only Ren 2 that they have. So they don't really do that good. The Bolt Storm Pistol, which I'm assuming they have to choose to use one or the other. I don't see any of them with them. I don't see any of them modeled with them. So it's like they knew. And they also hit 4s and 4s, Ren 1 damage. Well, you can have the Javelin. Okay, hold on. Each Vanguard Palador's unit is armed with one of the following weapon options: Bolt Sword Pistol and Shock Hand Axe. Okay, here we go. Or Bolt Storm Pistol and Stormstrike Javelin. See, I like the Javelin paired with the pistol, because then if you're using a unit of these, I think seeing that and the points and the aesthetic and the price of buying them, 3 for 70, They are definitely going into a butte. They either one has choice. Like they are just different. I definitely would pair them with the javelins. And then you can kind of teleport them around and shoot units. And then you can also get them into combat if you want. Right? But yeah, I would only use them as like harassment unit. Kuthian Guard Fulminators. Movement 10, I knew that. They have 6 wounds. They are $80 each. They are kind of chunky models. Should have been Drakari a few months ago. Oh. But these guys hit like a bloody truck. The glaive is 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, Rend 2, 1 damage. The like Rend 2 is the new Rend 1. So they do a whole lot more damage. The claws and fangs are melee. The range sucks, but we can excuse that. Because they're only gonna have like maybe unit of 4 max. These are 12 wounds for the unit too. So like they are tar pit as well. Three attacks, 3s and 3s, Rend 2, 2 damage from the claws and fangs, and they have a shooting attack. These are the older sculpt of the Stormcast Eternals. So they will have like they haven't quite figured out the aesthetic that they should go with this. But they look menacing, just big chunky boys. Stormblast is do not use the attack sequence for an attack made with Stormblast. Instead, roll a dice on a 4+. The target suffers D3 mortal wounds. And that's each one does it. And it's range 12. It's crazy. So like you get 5 units doing that, and you're gonna do insane mortal wounds. Also, impaling strikes. The unit's Stormstrike glaives have a damage characteristic of 3 instead of 1, and the unit made a charge in the same turn. That's bonkers. Bonkers. The Rend 2 3 damage on the charge. Ugh. Ugh. They're easily like let's say they're easily. If you get the charge off, they're here. Just Fulminators are no joke. All right, let's see the other weapon options. Concussors. They have the same movement. Like all these units will have the same unit or same movement and everything. So the Stormblast is the same. They only have 3 attacks now. Rend 2, 2 damage flat. So like they're more consistent. Far more consistent. I think I like them more than the Fulminators. I think the Concussors are better. Yeah, I definitely like the Concussors more. I'd much rather have a tar pit unit that just in case they get bogged down, they're still gonna slap you around. Especially with their save is a 3+, which is just whew. Spicy. And if it's a 6, it suffers 2 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. So they do mortal wounds in combat. Welcome. Yeah, so Concussors, honestly, I think they're up here too. They are just as good as the Fulminators. The Fulminators, if you get the charge off, they're better on the charge. But overall, I think the Concussors are a better choice. Okay, so Desolators, same Storm Blast, everything's the same, movement, save, wounds. Like I said before, they have 5 attacks, which is really good. 3s and 3s, rend 2, 1 damage. But I don't know, it's Cleaving Blow, add 2 to the attacks characteristic of the Thunder Axe if the number of models in the target unit is greater than the number of models in this unit. See, they're that's the problem. They're crap in the current meta. Against Gargants, they're useless. Man, did they really give 2 exact units with different weapon? Yes. Yes, this is the problem with Stormcast Eternals, is that they have 3 weapon choices, and all 3 of them have 3 separate data slates. Completely different data slates. They're not even in the same realm. It's insane. So like, this is why you don't see them. It's because they get the +2 to the damage if the models that they're hitting have more models than their unit. So in like min squads of 2, these would be better in a different meta. But in this meta, they wouldn't get anything done because they'd be up against Gargants all the time. So in the meta, aesthetically and all that stuff, they're I'd say they're kind of here. Just because the points are about the same as well. There's just really not much. And then the Tempesters. So range 12, 3s and 3s, rend 1, 1 damage. And they have a Warblade, 3s and 4s, rend 1, 1 damage. And when they get stuck in combat, which you know for sure they're going to. And then they're going to get stuck in that fight for the rest of the game. If an attack made with the Volley Storm crossbow scores a hit, that attack scores 2 hits on the target instead of 1. Make a wound and save roll for each hit. I don't even like that. I don't even like it. It's too swingy. It's just they're gonna get stuck in combat, and they're gonna get stuck in combat for the rest of the game. They're a decent model, but like, you're never gonna see them. Sisters of the Thorn. Like, aesthetically, they look great if you like Wood Elves. Rules wise, they're okay. They're not great. Points wise, they're probably too expensive. They're not bad points wise, but they are bad at everything else. Yeah, they're just not. They can unbind armor. They have their own spell. No, they're just great for painting. Everything else, I couldn't field them. So they're in here. Maybe here. I'm a little biased. We're gonna keep the Squig 6. Aesthetically, it just looks so nice. And then the other unit of the same box set is the Glade Guard guys. They have more utility than the sisters, but they're still not great. They're more of a painting model, to be honest. Well, they're really cheap. Well, it's because they're bad. just bad. They're just bad. Both of them, they're just bad. They're almost worth it. like the points wise, they're cheap, but the rules stop them from getting tabletop fun. Glade Guard look better for sure. Yeah, I honestly, I think maybe like that. That's all that's really happening. The Morsar Guard, they in the meta, they are really spicy right now. We're gonna put them up here, maybe even up here. Yeah, not worth a +1, just better looking. Yeah, 100%. They're not going to another tier just because they look slightly nicer. Because that could be just aesthetic. Like some people might like this Sisters of Thorn aesthetic over this one. Like some people might like the wizard ladies on like the elks. That is the Ishland because there's the unrentable ones. So like you can get these guys to a 3-up save on rentable, as long as your opponent doesn't really have a good way of removing them. You can keep them around for a long time. Because they're 4 wounds each, and they move stupid. They're super fast. The aesthetic is freaking amazing. I love this aesthetic. This army looks so dang cool. I almost started collecting these, and I think maybe at some point I will, but not right now. 3 for 60 is pricey, but I've seen more expensive, and you can get them in the get started box as well. So you can get them on a deal. So they are worth being up here. They might be a little bit higher, just because the shooting meta makes them that good, and these guys are up there with them because this is their damage output. This is their tank. So these guys have speed. They have speed on their side, 100%. Their special ability for the mortal wounds on during the combat phase is one of the best. That the amount of attacks that these guys have is up there as well. It's just they were one of the best units, but with the new stacking of armor saves and all that stuff, their normal attacks have gone down in favor, and everyone else going with higher rend attacks makes the other ones more favorable. But these still have a place in the army, but not as prevalent as they used to be. Aesthetically, they're still like way up there in my opinion. So they are definitely cream of the crop, some of the best cav units in the game. The Slanesh. This is how bad they are. I won't right past them. I didn't even know. They are so old that they're still $35. That's how old they are. And that's how old the other ones are. Like everything about this is bad. Everything. Rules wise, they have decent speed. The models are dated and could use some help. They're just bad. They're worse than those. Just because aesthetically they're better looking. Just terrible models. Let's go with Blood Crushers. Blood Crushers are essentially the same, but they're better than there. You know what? I think the Vanguard Bounders are better, which is this is sad. It's so sad that the Vanguard Bounders are better. Oh, Blood Crushers. It's the price. They're expensive now. Like, but used to get 60 for 3. Now you're getting 100 for 120. You're getting 6. So hopefully this fixes their issue of having not enough or not being able to field enough. Points wise, I think these are fairly priced well. Just the army as a whole does not help them. Yeah, Brass Stampede is what made them good, which is another issue. They only move 8, so they're slow. They have 4 wounds, 4 up save. They're Hellblade. The Hellblade should be hitting on 3s, guys. The Brazen Hooves, the only damage that they do is on the impact, and that's it. They don't even hit as hard as the Blood Crushers. Don't hit as hard as the Squigs. The Squigs hit harder than the Crushers. It's only on the impact hits where you actually get the damage, but you need to have 6 or more to get the D3 damage. It's just it's not viable. They're decent sculpt. They look cool, but that's pretty much where they end. They're not really viable in the meta. You know what? These have to go down. These 2 have to go down. They're almost worth it. I don't know what they're doing. Like these guys should be hitting like a freight train when they come in, but all they do is just the mortal wounds when they hit. And that's it. Like they don't do anything else. The only thing that the Skull Crushers have going for them is that they have a 3-up save. But they're more expensive. But that's pretty much all they're good for, is just soaking up damage. And then you got the Plague Drones. They honestly, it's only the Pus Guiles that do anything with this configuration. So they're decent. They're low tier decent. All right, chat. Is there anything that you disagree with? We got Darkspawn. I think they could go up a little bit, but you still don't see them though. And it might be because people just don't own the models. Point Grip Bounders. I think, yeah, they're still better than all these here. Like points wise. Well, how did Nurgle boys end up indecent? These are like the standard Plague Bearer guys. They're decent. They're not anything to sneeze at. That's a butte. No, these ones deserve where they are. Plague drones. Oh, it is plague drones. Like this is the same models, right? But you get a unit of 3. So monetarily they're good. But like they're not, like rules wise, the only thing that really does anything is the plague drone. Look at that model. It's the riders, man. It's the plague bearers. Yeah, okay. So you're telling me the model's only good when you change it? Is that what you're saying? So trash. I mean, it's the only time we're having a stick up its butt actually works. Actually makes sense to me. Like the rider is what knocks it down a peg. No, it's pretty on its own, and why so many people use it. The Pusk Oil I like, or the Plague Drone, or whatever. It's the same shit, man. It's the same thing, just a different name. It's entirely the same thing. Entirely the same thing. You can't change my mind. Look at me. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, these guys are they're not the same, man. Like everything about this model is good. Absolutely everything about this model is good. Like no flight stand, it goes up a peg. Okay. Also, the riders are really freaking cool looking. They are not the same ballpark. I cannot put them anywhere near of each other. They need to, and these guys use flight stands. I didn't say cream of the crop. I said a butte. No, they're no. Maybe here. We can put them on the top of the decent model bud because they are good in a fight on the actual tabletop. We can put them there. But everything, I think we're good. These definitely deserve here. Yep, you've earned it. Good for you. Uh, sorry. Yep, you deserve to be there. Maybe like that, like that. See, they're shifting up a little bit. These guys can go up. They're not as bad as them. Yeah, they can go down. Like model wise, they're essentially the same thing. Yeah, these guys are almost worth it. Sort of. Did you not preview Nurgle stuff or talk about? Yeah, I did. You just missed it. I did Nurgle first. I didn't. Nurgle was one of the first units I did. You're gonna have to watch it on YouTube when it gets put on YouTube. Yes. Yes. No, I haven't got a chance to look at the codex yet or the battle tome. I haven't even read the new rules yet. It looks decent though. I've heard some decent stuff, but I need to take a look at the actual book. I think these guys deserve where they are. These are good. I think they might be better than them. They're better than them. I think the only thing that's stopping them from being better than them is points. I think yeah. I think we're good, chat. I think we're good where we are. These are too meta dependent. Like these are borderline useless. Are there Centigores here? No, Centigores I couldn't find, and they didn't. I didn't count Centigores because they're not a cav unit. They're a unit that is speedy. They're more of a harassment unit. Cav unit is a unit riding on another unit. No, I didn't put the Centigores in just because they're not a unit riding another beastie or something. So they don't have extra attacks for it, or like they're essentially themselves just having animal legs. So I didn't put them into this ranking system because they're, in my opinion, not a cav unit. But yeah, I think we're good, guys. I think. And does anyone disagree with anything in particular of where I put things, other than the Nurgle? We're leaving the Nurgle where it is. Okay, but that is the. Also, where's the Space Marine 2 hype at? I mean, okay. They hyped up the Space Marine 2 trailer on the AoS page. Like, it's not. I mean, we are kind of the same community, right? I get it. But, like, you have a whole other page dedicated to Space Marines. Why is it on the AoS page? No, it was. Okay, it's on the AoS releases. Hold on, don't make me. I'm gonna check. We're checking. Say one bad word about it, and I will cancel you shortly. I'm fucking hyped. I'm not even kidding. I'm super hyped. Okay. Age of Sigmar. Remember, this is Age of Sigmar news that I just clicked on. I clicked on Warhammer Age of Sigmar articles. Then I went to news. And I'm getting a whole bunch of Warhammer 40k stuff with some AoS stuff sprinkled in.